I'm here with Baroness Fox. We've just been at the farmers' protest. You were there in the thick of it. Claire, what's your view on what's happening at the moment?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I found the protest really inspiring. Inspiring just because so many farmers who can't even have a day off to go on holiday felt so moved. They came from all around the country, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, everywhere, North, South, East and West, because they know that this is a very serious attack on them. This isn't just a sort of minor hiccup that's come out of the Rachel Reeves disastrous budget, but it's actually going to create an existential crisis for British farmers. I mean, how has she managed to do that? And like numpties, they've wandered into it without even knowing what they're doing.
And it's also not just farmers. I mean, farmers really, really important, crucially, but also small businesses generally are going to be impacted by this.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I was like standing in the thick of the crowd, and I was like talking to obviously farmers all around me, and I was saying they've managed to bring out a budget that's like going to destroy, would you believe it, not just farming, but the hairdressing industry, for example. The fact that they managed to forget that the national insurance contribution increase for employers. They think, oh, big bad employers, big bad corporates. No, little hairdressers. And they forgot, oh, who else is an employer? Care homes. They're private. Oh, so now you're going to end up closing down care homes. You're going to end up having a go at hospices. These are small businesses. I mean, I don't need to go on because you're familiar. But the reason why the farmers thing matters is because, again, in this sort of world that is very far detached in the real world, in their heads they're attacking big aristocratic landowning farmers. And the way the Labour government, sadly this government, seems to behave is to think, oh, that will be popular with ordinary working people. We'll attack those rich people who have got some tax exemption. Not understanding that for the majority of people in this country, A, they're not as bitter, and we've got that kind of class envy. And secondly, we've got a bit of respect for rural communities, for farmers who work in day, out day, that they are not idiots and they understand that even if they've got a farm that's on paper worth 3 million, what you're telling me, that they haven't made profit for years, they can barely pay the mortgage. And so consequently, it's just backfired on them because they keep thinking, they thought, well, we'll attack, those rich pensioners. That was the winter fuel allowance. We'll attack all those rich people who send their kids to private schools. That is those people who struggle really hard to get their kids into some sort of minor private school, often because their kids have got special needs and they kind of want special attention. They've ended up alienating so many people so quickly, and they still carry on refusing not just to listen, but to talk to people. The way that Keir Starmer scurried out of that Labour conference in Llandudno, the farmers outside, he never mentioned farming in his speech, and he didn't have the courage to just go out and say a couple of lines to it. It would indicate a lack of leadership, but also a real distance from the working lives of ordinary people, that they don't know any farmers. It's like that, they don't know anyone.
So do you think this is going to be a moment, because you speak all the time over at the House of Lords on a number of these issues very eloquently, but are they going to listen? Or we've got an issue, haven't we, a gap between many MPs, elected representatives, and the public, their constituents and more broadly. Do you think they're going to listen? I mean, that was an impressive protest, and I think that might be the start, not the end.
Well, they all emphasise that.
Yeah.
I don't think that, I mean, everybody who spoke, and the people I spoke to around me, know they're in for a long fight. They've got no illusions. They've already seen that there's this tiered approach from the government, and they're not particularly enthusiastic about the way the opposition will take them on. So they kind of feel, well, as somebody eloquently put it in the speech, with our last breaths, we're going to fight for our farms. I think she was saying, well, we're not doing much on politics. We've got an average sized farm, all this sort of stuff. She was saying that, and they said, but on this we'll be extraordinary, because when it comes to protecting our livelihoods and our communities, and that's one thing that I thought came over very strongly, that farming, I don't want to romanticise farming, but farming, I'm from Irish peasant farming stock, so I can know this, does more than just keep the land going for feed. That's all they farm. But they're often people who are kind of, I don't know, running the village council, right? They put on the fete, they do, they're at the heart of huge chunks of the United Kingdom that this government was meant to rule over or represent us as our ruling elite. And they have therefore upset something fundamental, and people just feel I've had enough of it. But when you say, well, they listen, no chance whatsoever. But what they might do is be forced to reconsider, but it's going to be a fight.
And that's why we all got to make sure that our MPs hear from us. Write to your MP, email them, call them. Thank you very much, Baroness
It's
Fox.
all right, that's fine.
We're out in the rain, but remember, we're always better and stronger together. Let your MPs hear from you. Let's support our farmers together.